Deixa eu ficar aqui por perto. Eu entendi que é para esperar.
Sim, esperar.
Now, I hope that everyone can hear me okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. So, as people will know from the previous session, I'm Jill Hennebrey, the Deputy Consul General here at the Consulate in São Paulo. And on behalf of the Consulate and the Embassy in Brasilia, and I think my colleagues who participated from Argentina as well, I would like to thank you all so much for the opportunity to be involved in this event. And would really like to congratulate all of you sincerely for the fantastic contributions and discussion and debate that have been generated throughout the past week. Unfortunately, there's too many people to name by heart, but I would like to thank in particular all the directors who took their time to give us to share a deeper insight into their films, and whose films are still available on SB Cine until the end of the month. So I think I would encourage everyone to still take advantage of that, and like to mention specifically Alan Gilsonen, who just spoke with us, Morris Fitzpatrick, Len Collin, Liz Gill, and Frank Berry earlier on in the week. Special thank you to Laura and Mariana and Thiago and everybody who has brought all of this together. It is a shame, of course, that the symposium can't happen in Argentina this year as it would have been originally envisaged. And I know that COVID, of course, is having a lot of strain on all of our work lives. I think this has really been a moment where you have taken advantage and you have taken the opportunity to reach a wider audience. And I think you're also creating an archive that people throughout the years in the future will be able to look back on. I think this is similar to the lecture series that the chair and ABE produce each year. This is something that really will enhance the legacy of Irish studies in Brazil. Of course, the consulate through the Immigration Support Programme fund the chair and ABE as well, and we really value this partnership. But I think an event like this shows what a vital role all of the work that you guys do in spreading Irish culture, but also reimagining it and bringing fresh ideas to Irish studies. And on that note, I would like to introduce Josely Halal Idaji. It's my pleasure to be introducing Josely, who is a member of the advisory board of ABE and also an associate researcher at the W.B. Yeats Chair of Irish Studies at USP. She holds a postdoctoral degree from UNESP, the State University at São Paulo, São José do Rio Preto, a master's and a doctoral degree from USP in Anglo-Irish Studies, and a Bachelor of Arts from PUC-Rio in Portuguese and English language and literatures. She also very generously, working together with her husband Claudio, they fund the ABE Hidaji Fellowship, which over the past 5 years has sent a Brazilian student to study an MPhil at Trinity College. Unfortunately, because of the reality of COVID at the moment, they haven't been able to continue it this year, but I know that they are very encouraged and excited to resume that amazing and very generous initiative as soon as possible. I had the pleasure of seeing Josely 2 years ago in conversation with Fintan O'Toole. Josely has published widely a number of books and articles about the work of George Bernard Shaw, and she spoke a very fascinating discussion with Fintan O'Toole, who was over here to discuss his work judging Shaw. I also had the pleasure of seeing Mrs. Warren's Profession and the Millionaires last August, I think, here in São Paulo in the Teatro Aliança Francesa, because Josely is also involved in the production of many of Bernard Shaw's work and plays here in Brazil. So on that note, I'll pass you over to the expert, Josely, who's going to share some of her latest study into Bernard Shaw. Thank you, Josely.
Well, thank you too very much. It's really a privilege to be here at this closing ceremony. And for that matter, I would like to thank Professors Mariana Bolfarini and Laura Izarra for inviting me, which is quite a privilege. Okay. So when I was invited to be part of the closing ceremony of the 15th Symposium of Irish Studies in South America, Virtual Encounters in Irish Studies in South America, I was in doubt about what to say that had not already been said throughout the sessions that took place since Monday, the 21st. Simply by glancing at the title of the symposium, I realized that it summed up all the activities of previous encounters among different countries in South America, Spain, and Ireland, where academics and researchers sharing the same interest in Irish studies join important knowledge in this field as well as companionship. ABEI, the Brazilian Association of Irish Studies, completed 30 years. 3 decades ago, Professor Munira Moutran founded this association. Her idea of making Irish studies become an important part of the postgraduate program of the English department at the University of São Paulo received full support of her students at the University of São Paulo and became an important link with academics abroad, many those who share the same interest in this area. I joined the association in 1995 when Munira invited me to be its treasurer. Later, at the time when Professor Laura Izarra became president, she invited me to be vice president. As a member of the association, I was part of intertextuality programs conducted by its members together with several other universities, always having in mind the development and propagation of Irish studies in Brazil and their counterparts abroad. I have the deepest respect for the work of various members of the association at the University of São Paulo, supervised by Professors Munira Moutran and Laura Izarra. However, as I was invited to the closing ceremony, I will mention some of my contribution to the area of Irish studies. Under the supervision of Professor Munira Moutran, I published a great deal on Bernard Shaw, whom I researched since my early days of my master's program, doctoral studies, and later on, under the supervision of Professor Peter Harris from Unesp, Universidade Estadual Paulista, also an alumni from the University of São Paulo, and another supervisee of Professor Moutran, I wrote my postdoctoral research, Bernard Shaw in Brazil, The Reception of Theatrical Productions, 1927-2013, published by Peter Lang in 2016. Through my publications on this author and production of his plays in São Paulo, it was possible to make this Irish playwright better known in São Paulo, as well as to provide the opportunity to organizers and members of the International Shaw Society to know that there is a Brazilian, a researcher from the University of São Paulo, publishing on Shaw and producing his plays. So far, I have produced 3 of Shaw's plays, beginning in 2008 with The Simpleton of the Unexpected Isles, Mrs. Ward's Profession, and The Millionaires in 2018 and 2019. In 2013, I have also co-produced Brian Fields' Dancing in Lunasa. Going back to 2009, Laura Izarra initiated the project From Ireland to Brazil, Critical Texts. On this occasion, researchers and graduate students from important Brazilian universities participated. Under the supervision of Professor Laura Izarra, from 2006 to 2009, the project had as purpose to search and study different aspects of fiction, drama, and poetry of Irish writers and critics from the end of 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century Ireland, which also included the diasporic period in Irish literature. It was also the purpose of the project to investigate new aesthetic ideas which would help new dialogue, as well as the renewal of literary criticism in Brazil. As a result, among other works, Shaw o Crítico of my authorship, Shaw the Critic, was published and later translated into Spanish by Mariela Graciela Elide, director of the Programa de Investigación Literaturas Contemporâneas en Diálogo, Asociación de Estudos Irlandeses del Sur, AEIS. According to Maria Graciela, the idea of this translation was the outcome of the research team coordinated by Laura Izarra, together with their counterparts from the research department of the Faculdade de Ciências Humanas of the Universidad Nacional de La Pampa. Roughly translating her own words when introducing the book, the translation of it into Spanish will provide material for critical discussion in literary studies. It will also enable new political and social dialogue among readers belonging to different fields of knowledge in the Hispanic language. As an addendum to interdisciplinary initiatives in Irish studies, with the full financial and humanitarian cooperation of my husband, Laura and I began the process of selecting Brazilian candidates to obtain a master's degree at Trinity College, Dublin. This was the beginning of the Abbey Haddad Fellowship Program. Having been a humanities student myself, I knew that students in this area have a great difficulty in obtaining funds for studies abroad. To date, we have already sent several students to Trinity, and the registration period for next year will be posted soon. I hope that this may explain to some extent the intention behind those 15 encounters of Irish studies in South America. Thank you very much for your time, patience, and attention.
Thank you, Rosalie. Good afternoon to everybody. I really thank you, Rosalie, for this historical presentation in this 15th Symposium of Irish Studies that in South America that is called Virtual Encounters. I think that this is very important because from the face-to-face or the presential encounters that we had along all the 30 years of Abbey, and then the last 10 years with the chair of Irish Studies, the aim was exactly to establish research networks, and especially to expand our research in a virtual way, not only face-to-face, but also these links and publications, joint publications with, as you have just mentioned, with our partners, other university partners, either in Ireland, in Argentina, here in Brazil, also from a national perspective and also an international perspective, brings us this idea of cultural and critical diasporas, as we say, in these very fruitful exchanges. So thank you very much. I would like just to say some words to thank everybody, especially Mariana Bolfarini with all her team in organizing the symposium, and the chair of Irish Studies have brought to this symposium the first online Irish film screening of film series in order to expand more and to open a kind of window towards Ireland and to understand what is happening in contemporary Ireland nowadays, and seeing this on the screen. We had films, all films that have been produced in the 21st century, and documentaries as the one that we have just discussed in the previous session, Eliza Lynch, looking backwards to the past and to all this relationship between Brazil and Paraguay and Ireland. Then also another documentary film by Maurice Fitzpatrick, In the Name of Peace, introducing us to this great historical figure, John Hume in America, in this idea of constructing the process of peace in Ireland. I also want to thank all the directors of these films, Frank Berry, Liz Gill, Len Colling, together with Alan Gilson and Maurice Fitzpatrick, for allowing us to have this show of the films from the 17th of September till the 30th. So those who haven't had the chance or to see them, or just have seen some of them, you have still nearly one more week to see them. So I would like to thank a lot Tiago Moyano and also Marcio Miranda Perez, who co-organized this film series with us, together with the curators, Noelia Borges, Sanio, also Cecilia, and sorry if I forget anyone else, but it is a very good group of curators, and mainly because this gives us the chance to discuss during the symposium in roundtables, also with Brazilian specialists that we have seen throughout the week, anthropologists, people, specialists in film, in filmography, and also in literature and plays that have been transformed into films. So saying this, I would like also to thank a lot and to give credit to Victor Augusto Pacheco for for being the assistant editor of ABEI Journal that we have recently published and launched on Monday. The official launch was on Monday on John Banville's work. I think that the whole team, the directors of ABEI, and all the people who have been supporting this event have really our hearty thanks for making this possible. So Mariana, I pass over to, no, first of all to Elisa, because it's important now to know what is going to happen next year. So please, Elisa, the Vice President of ABEI.
Thank you, Laura. Good afternoon to everybody. My name is Elisa Branches. I'm a professor of literature in English at Rural Federal University in Rio and Vice President of ABEI. I want to thank you all for your participation in the 15th Symposium of Irish Studies in South America, Virtual Encounters, either as speakers, lecturers, panelists, interviewees, or audits. And congratulate Professors Laura Izarra and Mariana Buffarini and the organizing committee team for the excellent job and for all their effort to make this great event possible. In my name, and on behalf of my colleague Vitor Alevato do Amaral, Professor of Literatures in English at Fluminense Federal University and ABEI Director, we want to take this opportunity to announce that the 16th Symposium of Irish Studies in South America will take place in Rio, presentially if possible. It will be organized by ABEI, together with the William Butler Yeats Chair, and two host universities, Rural Federal University of Rio de Janeiro and Fluminense Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, with also the support of the research group of Joyce Studies in Brazil. We encourage you to be here with us for that. That will be a really exciting event on an emblematic year in which we commemorate 100 years of the signature of the Anglo-Irish Treaty in Ireland. Enjoy your weekends and see you in Rio. Now I'm going to give the floor to Mariana.
Okay, thank you, Elisa. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Rosalie, and thank you, Jill. Okay, so we have finally reached the end of a truly inspiring week. 2020 has been a strange year, in some aspects, very difficult. I believe that at the same time that many of us have been affected by grief and by loneliness, the pandemic has also revealed that, as John Donne has written in Meditation 17, no man is an island. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. The truth is, we miss each other. We miss human contact and connection. It was quite a challenge to organize these virtual encounters. Yet, despite little glitches here and there, we were able to make these connections from the very opening to the very end. And through these connections, I am certain that many of us will have left these virtual encounters, at least with the hope of brighter days ahead when face-to-face encounters will be possible. I would now like to take a moment to thank the Irish Ambassador Sean Hoy, Consul General Owen Bennis, and Deputy Consul Jill Henneberry for your participation and support, and of course the Immigrant Support Program, which has supported this symposium. I also give special thanks to the William Butler Yeats Chair of Irish Studies and all the work that Laura Zaha has put into the first online film series, which has turned out beautifully. Thanks to all the keynote speakers and panelists, as well as active participants. You have done an outstanding job in sharing with us your valuable knowledge, insight, and experiences in so many areas of Irish studies and its connections to the world. I would also like to thank dear Professor Munira Mutran, Honorary President of ABEI, who I'm sure is watching us at this moment, and also the Board of Directors of ABEI. I would like to give special thanks to those who have made this event possible, working tirelessly at the backstage. Camila Franco Batista, Caroline Moreira Frauzino, Tiago Moiano, and Victor Augusto Pacheco, who has put together the panel sessions. The Brazilian Association, as I also mentioned in the opening of the event, is organized events related to research on, as well as the spreading of Irish studies in undergraduate and postgraduate levels, as well as beyond the university walls by means of extension projects. It also promotes mobility programs and the exchange between visiting professors from Brazil and abroad, such as the ABEI Haddad Fellowship, which Rosalie and Jill have already mentioned, which supports Brazilian students to take up an MPhil at Trinity College Dublin. Besides this, the outcome of these links between Ireland and Brazil can be seen in the ABEI Journal, the journal of the Brazilian Association of Irish Studies, which publishes original research articles and creative writing and has been publishing for over 20 years. We are also very happy to invite you all to submit articles and creative writing pieces to the ABEI Journal for the general issue, which will come out next year. The call for papers is already on the ABEI website. So I hope you all keep safe, and I end this talk by looking forward to meeting you all before long, either in virtual encounters or face-to-face. Thank you very much.